What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Captain Cody Davis here with you guys again for another one. And this is going to be take number 3, I believe, on this video, because I was going to sit down here and just kind of do a video just unboxing anything and everything that has to do with Lake Okeechobee that's transpired over the last 2 months, if you will, because there's kind of a lot going on. But I'm going to save that for another time because I got to go move a cow. I've only got like 5 minutes. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick Lake Okeechobee fishing report. Got a new camera set up, trying some new audio things, so hopefully you guys can see me and hear me loud and clear and there's no echo. That's what I'm worried about. But either way, we'll keep this short and sweet. Today is, my kids have messed up my phone. I can't even see, September 23rd. And so we're technically in the last few days of summer here, but it's actually fall, and it's weird. We're getting little tastes of the fall transition, and have been over the last 2 weeks. Cool mornings, still blazing hot in the afternoons. I pulled off the water yesterday at 3 o'clock and it was 94 degrees. So we're still getting those crazy high temps, but the mornings have been cool. We're getting some northerly winds. It's been blowing out of the north for like a week and a half now. The water's rising. The lake's at like 13.25 foot, I believe. So a lot of things are changing. And this is, I've plugged it in my channel for the last 4 years. This is the toughest time to fish Lake Okeechobee. It's a transition period. Our fish don't do well with change. So it's a struggle out there. But with that being said, there are some really nice fish being caught. You just got to work for them. We just had that Refuse to Sink tournament. Thank you to all of you that came out and fished for a good cause this past weekend. 22-33 won it out of 51 boats, which, grand scheme of things is a very low weight. Even more crazy than that, I think me and Breezy got 7th with 15 pounds. So the weights are really low. One big bite really made a difference. We never got that. But people are catching fish, and over the last week, I can legitimately tell you I have fished the entire lake twice over the last week and a half. And in my opinion, there's no hot spot. There's no great place. They're not biting like crazy anywhere on the lake. It's kind of just that time of year where you just got to put your head down and fish and stop running around because you got nowhere to run to, as Kelly would say. Catching fish, doing a little bit of everything. We're in that transition time. These fish are technically pre-spawn right now, which is crazy to think about if you're not from Florida. But, there are some fish schooling on shad. Any of the fish that I have caught schooling are not actively schooling. And what I mean by that is they're bunched up. There's a decent number of fish there. They're all fat as can be, healthy, pre-spawn males with a couple females mixed in. But I can't get them to eat anything moving. They won't eat a topwater. They won't eat a trap, a chatterbait. It's all catching them dragging a fat ace on the bottom. And that's kind of been it, that and a burner worm. But catching multiple fish off of one point or one pocket kind of thing. So maybe over the next couple weeks that'll change and you could really get onto some fish and some big numbers. But right now you're really having to work for them. The water is coming up, okay, and I think, like I said, it's at like 13.25, and there are some fish starting to make their way into the grass. But with my experience, as far as my experience, I should say, I am not getting bit in the back. I ventured to the back every day, trolling around, burning trolling motor battery, trying to just lay eyes on some good areas, and I found some great areas with some really good growth. I say really good, it's all relative, not like 2010 Okeechobee, but seeing some decent signs of a little bit of, some new growth. Found some eelgrass, plenty of shrimp grass and coontail. That stuff is everywhere in the lake. Found some needlegrass, found some new cattail heads. Even found some hydrilla, wink wink. So found some of that. There is some stuff coming back, but those fish, it looks beautiful, but the fish aren't using it yet. So I wouldn't waste my time in the back of anywhere around the lake. Most of what I've been concentrating on is actually still open water or just on the outside grass line. And that goes from the north end all the way down to the south end. I know in that tournament, like I said, me and Breezy only had 15 pounds. We weighed 1 fish on a burner worm, 3 on a frog, and 1 on a chatterbait. And where we caught our weight was basically on a point. I guess you can call it a main lake point, and there was just kind of a boat lane that these fish were using to kind of poke into the grass and come out. And we caught 6 or 7 fish there. And that was really all we had. So there's still some fish kind of hanging around some brim. There's obviously fish feeding on shad. I just can't catch those fish actively feeding on shad. I'm sure other people are. I just haven't been able to. So if you hear bait, you have good water, just fish. I haven't really heard of anyone who's knocking them out, catching 20, 30 a day. There might be people doing that. I haven't heard of anyone doing that. So it's a grind out there. Put your head down and fish. You can kind of catch them, like I said, on a little bit of everything. We're catching some on a frog, a chatterbait, obviously. I tell you to keep a rattle trap handy. I'm not be able to get bit on it, but if these fish are schooling and you come across a group of fish that are feeding on shad, that's his rattle trap season. Or there's a little really good trap bite that happens over the next 30 days. In this time of year we're in, and flipping reeds, flipping Kissimmee grass, just flipping outside grass. Now, from what I've been able to tell, again, you're not going to get a lot of bites doing this. But it seems like when you do get bit, it's over 4 pounds. And a 4-pounder right now is like a 6-pounder any other time. These bites are just really hard to come by. And again, with the north winds, it's only been blowing like 10 to 15, which means the south end of the lake is fishable. I've been running around down there, checking the outside edge, and it's fishable. The water's plenty clean enough all around the lake. So visibility or water clarity has not been an issue. The entire lake is fishable, and there's fish coming from all around the lake. I can honestly tell you, we had a 51 boat tournament and that refused to sink, and I saw 3 boats all day. So people are really spread out, and that's just because there's not a biomass of fish really anywhere in particular in the lake. You just got to grind it out. There are some big fish being caught. Big fish at the tournament was just under 8 pounds. There was quite a few 5 and 6 pounders. And what's crazy is all the fish look ridiculously healthy. They're all pre-spawn, fat as can be, and they're crazy strong right now for some reason too. When you hook them, they're fighting a little extra hard. I'm not sure what's up with that, but so I mean, as far as a fishing report, there really isn't one. I mean, there's fish getting caught every way possible all around the lake. This is more, I guess, of a report just to let you guys know it's a grind. So if you're not getting a bunch of bites, you're not necessarily missing out or doing anything wrong. That's just how it is. The going joke, if you will, on the lake right now is if you find something that looks really good, like there should be fish there, you probably aren't going to get bit. And I experienced that firsthand for the last week and a half, trying to explore, trying to check known addresses that they're starting to come back. The bottom looks great. There's some new vegetation, new growth that's protected. But the fish just aren't using that yet. These fish are still kind of hanging out on the outside. And, we're also getting that, this little window in time right now for me is I like hearing bait. I want to hear those brim popping. I want to see some little balls of shad swimming around. And although I'm not hearing fish actively feed on them, that is where I am picking up a couple of extra bites. So, I don't know. That's my fishing report. No, I don't have an area. If you were to ask me, should I fish the north or the south end? They're both fishing the same, at least for me. Like I said, I fished every ramp on the lake twice in the last 10 days. So, and none of them were better than the other, but none of them were worse than the others either. So no real pattern, just if only thing I can tell you is I would still stay to the outside as close to the open lake as you can get, and just grind it out. It's going to get better each and every day as these fall conditions start making their way down here to South Florida. These fish are going to start pushing into the grass. And again, if the water would stay below 14 foot for a little while to prevent that muddy water intruding into these backwater areas and that first wave of spawners get in, I think it's going to be pretty damn good. I think you're going to see some big weights come. I also think by the Rollins tournament, we have that Lake and Trail Derby this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to be fishing it or not. I'm going to try. If anything, then following weekend we have Rollins. I see the weights going up dramatically, potentially for this tournament coming up this weekend, but definitely by next weekend. talked to a lot of anglers. Couple of different anglers in the tournament said, I think it's fixing to happen. I mean, the lake was really tough for the last 2 months, really, and now we're starting to see a change, and it's almost like, yes, we're only getting a bite or 2 or 3 in this area where you think you should get bit, but for the last 2 months you haven't had a bite in there at all. So fish are starting to come in, and it won't be long before I feel like 30 pounds is just, you know, what it's going to take to win every tournament again. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If you want to book a trip, let me know. I'm going to try, give me a call, shoot me a text. I've been booking trips like crazy for the fall, and also a lot of people getting their dates in for next spring over the next 2 or 3 days. I'm going to try and start doing an upload on here every week, maybe twice a week. That's pushing it, but I'm really going to try. I know a lot of people I talked to that book trips were very open to express to me how pissed they are at me that I don't upload more regularly. So I apologize. I know I said I was going to do that. I really got to get back on that train and get uploading on here more consistently, because I'm kind of the person where I'll upload 3 videos over the course of a week and then you don't hear from me for a month and a half. And I know that that's it's annoying to you guys, and it doesn't help me growing this channel. So appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys clicking on. Appreciate all the positive feedback I get from you guys. It truly does mean a lot. And yeah, if you want to book a trip, let me know. My contact information is in the description below. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Tie lines out there and be safe.